Hey there, greetings fanboys and fangirls. Jared here with another video from Fanboys Forever. And instead of doing some kind of review today or something like that, I've of course already reviewed the ETERNIA playset. But instead in that review I did allude to the idea that it just wasn't long enough for me to be able to get into everything that I wanted to, particularly about all the different ways that you can create displays with this thing. I'm going to set about doing display videos for many of the different Masters of the Universe lines that you can put with this thing, just so that you can see how they all look. So, without further ado, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so, and please be sure to like the video because that really helps us out. Alright, let's see how this thing looks with Masters of the Universe Origins figures. So, looking at the main photo here from my diorama, you can see that I have all sorts of different factions put together. There really isn't necessarily a rhyme or a reason as to where people are. I just kind of tried to vary it up as best I could, and Brandon was actually here to help me kind of set things up, so a lot of appreciation to him on that. You can see that we have King Grayskull up there on the Grayskull Tower, and we put the Spirited Grayskull diorama piece behind him. So I think that's pretty cool. It kind of gives him an ethereal, like Jedi ghost kind of look. And you can see that just like in the tradition of the old posters, I actually had Prince Adam up there in the Talon Fighter as if he were a separate character. That's one thing you're going to see quite a bit as we go over the towers here, is that there's a lot of, character repeats. And I just, I didn't want there to just be one He-Man, because there's so many. I wanted them all on display. So there's not maybe a lot of rhyme or reason to why some characters repeat. But I tried to put every single Origins figure that I had in this display, and sure enough, every single one of them are here. And so it's very few that I don't own, as you've seen in some of my countdown videos. You can see that on the Viper Tower there, we actually have a Snake Armor Man-at-Arms off to the side, sneaking around on Snake Mountain. And that's one of the cool things, is that if you look closely, I've incorporated Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, just like that was always implied from the vintage artwork, especially the big ETERNIA poster. Of course, I have most of the vehicles, so the Wind Raider was back there, Tila was in it. And then just kind of getting a look, you can see the Castle Grayskull Knight right there below King Grayskull. And that's the cool thing, is you can kind of pose them on the supports for the tram track. So I think that's kind of a fun thing to do. I like to take the flying characters like Stratos there and use those little wrist attachments. I think that's kind of fun. There's more room on the porch of the central tower, I guess you could call it, than I thought. So it's really fun to put different characters on the front there. Hordak doesn't really have as much presence or representation in the three towers, so I was glad to kind of have him hanging around and put him in a more prominent spot, because the Horde is kind of get the short end of the stick on this one. I was sure to put some of the beasts in there too, like you could see Panther back there to the side with 2000X Skeletor, and you can see Battlecat there. Of course, I have a couple of different versions of Battlecat and a couple of different versions of Panther, like the flocked and unflocked. So there's lots of different variations going on here. One thing I will warn you about with those little wrist gauntlet things that they use is that they don't actually fit any female figures. They're just too thick, so it's a real shame they couldn't have made some thinner ones for the female figure wrists. I think that would have been a really nice gesture. I was sure to have He-Man and Skeletor out front, just like on the original ETERNIA poster, and I thought that Terror Claws was a really good one to use, because that's how it was in the original poster, and Flying Fist He-Man, so I tried to do it like it had on that original artwork. So that was kind of a little fun homage that I did. You know, it amazed me that I still could have fit even more Masters figures in here. And that's even with duplicates of things like Horde Troopers. You can see that we just kind of have them littered around as if they had been destroyed during the battle. There's plenty of room if you're using a big table like I am. You're not definitely going to be pressed for very much space. And that's hardly utilizing anything in the back there, like behind the towers. There's really no figures like inside the tower. Definitely this is just kind of taking into account front space which, I mean, I would imagine is the way that most displays are going to look. I doubt many folks will have the towers turned around, but tell me in the comments below if maybe that's how you're going to do it. I mean, you know, I guess don't knock it until you try it, but still, my guess is most people will have it displayed frontward like this. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed looking at my display that Brandon and I put together for this video. It was certainly a lot of fun setting it up, and really, you know, it's the kind of thing that'll make you feel like a kid again. In a way, you kind of feel like you're setting up one of those grandiose, you know, whole line kind of paintings that they did back in the day. And it's amazing because even with this gargantuan amount of, I guess, over 100 figures in this display, you can still clearly see the towers and the play sets all assembled onto that one table that I have it on. But I certainly hope you've enjoyed this, and be on the lookout for more, including a Masterverse video, as well as a Masters of the Universe Classics video. So God bless, take care.